The Godly Man's Picture by Thomas Watson. Chapter 1. For this shall everyone that is godly pray unto thee. Psalm chapter 32 verse 6. Holy David at the beginning of this psalm shows us wherein true happiness consists, not in beauty, honor, riches, the world's trinity, but in forgiveness of sin. Quote, Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, verse 1. The Hebrew word to forgive signifies to carry out of sight, which agrees well with the words of Jeremiah, quote, In those days, saith the Lord, the sins of Judah shall be sought for, and they shall not be found. Jeremiah 50 verse 20. This is an incomprehensible blessing, and such as lays a foundation for all other mercies. I shall just glance at it and lay down these 5 assertions about it. Part 1. Forgiveness of sin is an act of God's free grace. The Greek word forgive, charizomai, makes clear the source of pardon. Pardon does not arise from anything inherent in us, but is the pure result of free grace, charis. Quote, I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 25. When a creditor forgives a debtor, he does it freely. Pardon of sin is a fine thread spun out of the heart of free grace. Paul cries out, quote, I obtained mercy. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 13. Quote, I was bemercied. He who is pardoned is all bestrewn with mercy. When the Lord pardons a sinner, he does not pay a debt, but gives a legacy. Part 2. God, in forgiving sin, remits the guilt and penalty. Guilt cries for justice. No sooner had Adam eaten the fruit than he saw the flaming sword and heard the curse. But in remission, God indulges the sinner. He seems to say to him, quote, Though you have fallen into the hands of my justice and deserve to die, yet I will absolve you, and whatever is charged against you shall be discharged. Part 3. Forgiveness of sin is through the blood of Christ. Free grace is the impulsive cause. Christ's blood is the meritorious. Quote, Without shedding of blood is no remission. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 22. Justice would be revenged either on the sinner or on the surety. Every pardon is the price of blood. Part 4. Before sin is forgiven, it must be repented of. Therefore, repentance and remission are linked together. Quote, that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name. Luke chapter 24 verse 47. Not that repentance, in a popish sense, merits forgiveness. Christ's blood must wash our tears away, but repentance is a qualification, though, not a cause. He who is humbled for sin will value pardoning mercy the more, when there is nothing in the soul but clouds of sorrow, and now God brings a pardon, which is a setting up of a rainbow in the cloud, to tell the sinner that the flood of wrath shall not overflow him. Oh, what joy there is at the sight of this rainbow! The soul that before was steeped in tears now melts in love to God. Luke chapter 7 verse 38 and verse 47. Part 5. God having forgiven sin, he will no longer call it to remembrance. Jeremiah 31 verse 34. The Lord will make an act of indemnity. He will not upbraid us with former unkindness, nor sue us with a cancelled bond. Quote, He will cast all our sins in the depths of the sea. Micah chapter 7 verse 19. Sin shall not be cast in like cork, which rises up again, but like lead, which sinks to the bottom. How we should all labor for this covenant blessing. Section 1. How sad it is to lack it. It must of necessity go badly with the malefactor who lacks his pardon. All the curses of God stand in full force against the unpardoned sinner. His very blessings are cursed. Malachi chapter 2 verse 2. Caesar wondered at one of his soldiers who was so merry when he was in debt. Can the sinner be merry who is heir to all God's curses, and does not know how soon he may take up his lodgings among the damned? Section 2. How sweet it is to have it. Subsection A. The pardoned soul is out of the gunshot of hell. Romans chapter 8, verse 33. Satan may accuse, but Christ will show a discharge. Subsection B. The pardoned soul may go to God with boldness and prayer. Guilt clips the wings of prayer so that it cannot fly to the throne of grace, but forgiveness breeds confidence. He who has his pardon may look his prince in the face with comfort. This great mercy of pardon David had obtained, as appears in verse 5, quote, "Thou forgavest me," end quote. And because he had found God, a God of pardons, Nehemiah 9:17, he therefore encouraged others to seek God in the words of the text, quote, "For this cause shall every one that is godly pray unto thee," end quote. Chapter 2. Expounding the nature of godliness. Quote, "Every one that is godly," end quote. It will first be inquired, what is godliness? I answer in general, quote, "Godliness is the sacred impression and workmanship of God in a man, whereby from being carnal he is made spiritual," end quote. When godliness is wrought in a person, he does not receive a new soul, but he has another spirit. Numbers chapter 14, verse 24. The faculties are not new, but the qualities are. The strings are the same, but the tune is corrected. Concerning godliness, I shall lay down these 7 maxims or propositions. Proposition 1. Godliness is a real thing. It is not a fantasy, but a fact. Godliness is not the feverish conceit of a sick brain. A Christian is no enthusiast, one whose religion is all made up of fancy. Godliness hath truth for its foundation. It is called, quote, "the way of truth," Psalm chapter 119, verse 30. Godliness is a ray and beam that shines from God. If God is true, then godliness is true. Proposition 2. Godliness is an intrinsic thing. It lies chiefly in the heart. Quote, "Circumcision is that of the heart," Romans chapter 2, verse 29. The dew lies on the leaf. The sap is hidden in the root. The moralist's religion is all in the leaf. It consists only in externals. But godliness is a holy sap which is rooted in the soul. Quote, "In the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom," Psalm chapter 51, verse 6. The Chaldean expounds it, quote, "in the close place of the heart," end quote. Proposition 3. Godliness is a supernatural thing. By nature we inherit nothing but evil. Quote, "When we were in the flesh, the motions of sin did work in our members," Romans chapter 7, verse 5. We sucked in sin as naturally as our mother's milk, but godliness is the, quote, "wisdom from above," James chapter 3, verse 17. It is breathed in from heaven. God must light up the lamp of grace in the heart. Weeds grow of themselves. Flowers are planted. Godliness is a celestial plant that comes from the New Jerusalem. Therefore it is called a, quote, "fruit of the Spirit," Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. A man has no more power to change himself than to create himself. Proposition 4. Godliness is an extensive thing. It is a sacred leaven that spreads itself into the whole soul. Quote, "The very God of peace sanctify you wholly," 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23. There is light in the understanding, order in the affections, pliableness in the will, exemplariness in the life. We do not call a black man white because he has white teeth. He who is good only in some part is not godly. Grace is called, quote, "the new man," Colossians chapter 3, verse 10. Not a new eye or tongue, but a new man. He who is godly is good all over, though he is regenerate only in a part, yet it is in every part. Proposition 5. Godliness is an intense thing. It does not lie in a dead formality and indifference, but it is vigorous and flaming, quote, "fervent in spirit," Romans chapter 12, verse 11. We call water hot when it is so in the 3rd or 4th degree. He whose devotion is inflamed is godly, and his heart boils over in holy affections. Proposition 6. Godliness is a glorious thing. As the jewel to the ring, so is piety to the soul, bespangling it in God's eyes. Reason makes us men. Godliness makes us earthly angels. By it we, quote, partake of the divine nature. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 4. Godliness is near akin to glory. Quote, glory and virtue. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3. Godliness is glory in the seed, and glory is godliness in the flower. Proposition 7. Godliness is a permanent thing. Aristotle says, quote, names are given from the habit, end quote. We do not call the one who blushes sanguine, but the one who is of a ruddy complexion. 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 42. A blush of godliness is not enough to distinguish a Christian, but godliness must be the temper and complexion of the soul.